A nice morning in Amalfi. So we'll be heading up into the hills shortly, winding our way up to Ravello. Car park there on our left, built into the rock of the hillside here. It's limestone rock, so fairly straightforward, I suppose, to carve into.
Yeah, good, thank you.
The bus stop on the other side there, that's got the mosaic of one of the symbols of Ravello. Is this dragon, and it says Ravello, city of music. But the dragon is here for the name of the valley we're climbing into, the Dragon's Valley. And I suppose it's sort of fearsome name to ward people off climbing up. But the first people to settle in Ravello, they came as a refuge, really. They wanted to find a safer place away from the coastline that was more vulnerable to marauders, and particularly these Saracens. They say Arab peoples. Later on it would have been the Turks in the 15th, 16th centuries. Much safer to live up in the hills. Looking across to Maiori there, Maiori. Gore Vidal's villa. If you crane your neck up to the left, you can see it then, nestled in the rock. And he was playing host to the Clintons and the Kennedys way back in the 60s, so he had a very long spell living up in Ravello, this very famous American writer, very outspoken, but didn't approve much of the Bushes and their policies, especially after 9/11, and friends with the Clintons and the Kennedys, Democrats. Not the first person to come from foreign parts and buy villas, so we've got two wonderful villas that you can visit with the gardens, and both of them having a British connection. And the Villa Rufolo is the one that's easier for you to visit. It's right by the main square, and well, the name Rufolo comes from a banker in the 13th century, Landolfo Rufolo, who had his estate on the site. A very wealthy man, banker to the French kings. We have the sunrise concerts, early starts for that one, with a beautiful setting overlooking the Gulf of Salerno. €7, and you get a little discount. Those of you who are over 65, €5. It's privately run and not a state-owned museum, so they can give discounts. We're not getting free tickets anymore now for over 65s at any of the state-run museums. The other villa that's beautiful, delightful as well, Villa Cimbrone. It's a little bit far to walk. I'd say you've got about 15-20 minutes to walk there, but you're taking in a lot of the town as you go, and there's no traffic, no cars, so it's a nice walk. And Cimbrone, bought by a chap called Lord Grimthorpe, who was an MP back home. He was the MP for Whitby, and he sold his houses in London and Leeds. Kirkstall Grange was his house in the Leeds area, and he bought what was basically a ruined farmhouse, which he transformed into this great palace with towers and a mix of what they call the Arab Norman and Venetian Gothic styles, and had the gardens laid out in a mixture of sort of English rose beds. There's a tea house, there's classical temples with statues, and today it's run as a luxury hotel. So you wouldn't visit inside the hotel, but you can have a nice stroll around the gardens. And again, that's €7 entry fee there, but no discounts for over 65s. Well, lots of famous people have stayed at Villa Cimbrone. Greta Garbo, famously with the conductor Leopold Stokowski, but yeah, many people over the years. D.H. Lawrence and Churchill came to Ravello. E.M. Forster, the writer, Virginia Woolf. So lots of cultural figures from Britain. And I think they've all admired the great beauty of the town, the wonderful position, the great scenery. There's a couple of 5-star hotels up there as well. They have quite a short season. They don't work right through the winter. They have a lot of American guests, but they just don't come in the winter months. They come for the warm weather, the summer. So on the main square you've got 3 cafes, and tables and chairs outside, and it's quiet up there. You know, no traffic, no cars are allowed into the town centre. It's a little restaurant I sometimes go to, just a short walk from the square. You see lots of local people in there. It's a trattoria, so not an expensive restaurant. There's quite a few sort of nice fish restaurants, and yeah, trattoria, they do all the local dishes, the pastas, and you wouldn't spend more than about 15 euros for pasta dish with some drinks, some wine and water. As I say, you've got the cafes on the square as well. They do snacks. So if I walk you up into the centre of the town, and I can just give you bearings, point out the direction to get to the Villa Cimbrone, and yeah, we're going to make sure you've got enough time to get some lunch and see at least one, or if not both, of the villas. So it's coming up to 12:30. If we say meet back here for 3 o'clock, and then Antonio will drive us down through well, he won't take us down to the coast straight away. We'll go through Tremonti, so we'll have a different journey home.
Farmer Betty.
We're gonna do a freaking series, a whole series. Each city. People will be calling me back soon.
I have points, then. I have points.
It's usually a half a euro or a euro.
Yeah, I think you have to hand it to the lady. Here, just take as many